Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. We are here for another clutch update. We're going to be updating clutch number 7. Now, if you're keeping track at home, well, before we get to that point, like, subscribe, check out the Patreon. That's where you can buy the awesome results of this clutch, plus others. Yeah, plus others are going to be real important here in a minute. But go ahead and check all that out. And Kurt's going to put a link in the description to the actual cutting video from this clutch, so you can go back and you can watch them be born. Or if you want, you can pause this right now, go watch them be cut, then come back and watch to see the results. I don't give a shit what order you do it in, but you should watch both of them. Anyway, it's going to be there for you. We're going to share this clutch's results. And this is clutch number 7. And you may be saying, well, Matt, what about clutch number 6? Well, I'll give you a quick little overview of clutch 6. But we're not going to show them to you just yet, and I'll tell you why too. So clutch 6 was a carpet python clutch. We had 13 eggs. One of them passed within like a week. It just failed to thrive and died within 3 or 4 days of being out. It happens sometimes. And then one of them we told you about with the rack issue. So we still have 11 of the 13. It's kind of a bummer because last year we only hatched like 7 or 8, but we had all of them go great. Most of them are eating. There's still a few on the struggle bus, but the reason I don't want to show them yet is I want to let them get a few more sheds before we show them off, simply because it takes a bit for carpet color to come in. And I want you to get a chance to actually see the babies as they're looking pretty, not this super drab color that they typically are born with and will hold for a while. So we're going to set on those for a few, but I promise to share those results with you in full like we do everything else. I just want you to get something pretty to look at, which will probably make more sense as we go through this clutch. So what is a clutch? Well, I guess we should start by showing the parents, right? The father is right here. I'll pull him out for you. You're not being fed. Don't bite me. He is your pretty run-of-the-mill, just basic Inchy, right? Nice snake, nice example of a single gene. Don't know how it's going to pick up the colors here, but there's definitely a difference in the color. You get some good banding on him. That's what you're looking for in an Inchy. I recognize the banding more than anything. The color as babies is not something my eye picks up really well on this. For some people, it stands out like a sore thumb. You also get this kind of marking in an Inchy through here, which you can see a lot of it. Not really that flame, that kind of greenish, and then just this lighter, almost like a pastel does, but the color's different. And this is definitely not pastel color. This is, well, it's Inchy earth tone color. So that is Dad. This is the only clutch I believe he fathered this year. Mom. Mom's got an interesting story. And Mom is really what makes this clutch important. I'll pull her out for you too. She is, oh, you shed for me and everything. You may have a little piece on there. I'll set her up here, and while Kurt is watching her for me, I'm going to talk and do a little bit of spring cleaning. So, what is she? She is a fire yellow belly. She was in-house produced. Actually, she was not in-house produced. I lied about that. She's one we purchased as a fire yellow belly way back in the day when we first got rolling, back before we even had a name. Don't let her fall. And she had her shed now post-laying and everything. That is awesome. So, we bought her, we raised her up to breed, we then bred her. Well, what happened was, her first clutch we ever produced with her, she went horribly egg-bound. She passed every egg but one, and that egg was not retained in the place you'd want an egg retained. What I mean by that is, nobody wants an egg retained anywhere. But in her case, hi girlie, if a perfect world, if you had a retained egg, come here you, I know, you'd want it down here, right? You want it close to the cloaca. If you're going to retain one, that's the best spot to have it, is right in there. Hers was up in here. It never moved. We let her try for a few days to pass it. We then decided we had to take action. So what we were able to do, so we did call a vet. They were like, yep, bring her in. We'll do a surgery on her. It'll render her non-breedable and everything else. We did a little more research, decided we wanted to try a different method first. And what we did was we first tried to palpate the egg down. Now, if you're going to do that, you want to make sure the egg will actually move. Do not force it. You can actually cause some damage if it's adhered to the intestine, or not the intestines, but the ovaries. You don't want to rip that, which in our case, the egg did move. So we were able to palpate it down and get that thing to move close to the cloaca. It was too big and swollen. It was not going to come from the cloaca. We were not worried about preserving the egg at that point because it obviously posed a significant risk to her. So what we did, we got it close to the cloaca, where we could get the cloaca to open, but we were not able to remove the egg. We were able to take a hypodermic without having to go through the skin, go into the cloaca, into the egg, draw out fluid several times to shrink that mass down. So in essence, we pulled a lot of the fluid out of the egg, more or less popped it, and by doing that, shrunk that down, and then let her go ahead and finish passing that, which she was then able to do. So we then gave her 2 years off because it took her a while to get back on food after that traumatic experience. We wanted to give her an extra year off, and we went to breed her this year. This pairing was mostly about her. It wasn't about having, crazy awesome babies. It was about pairing her to a male that we could lock quite a bit with her and hope she would produce and see if she went egg bound again. Because Kurt and I had both talked. If she had another problem with egg binding, she was done. We were going to rotate her out of the breeding program. Once as it happens, twice as a happens too often, and we would not be using her because we were not going to breed a snake that egg binds all the time. It's not worth it for their health, and she would find a home as a pet to people we know and just get to live her life out being that. Well, fortunately for us, she had 5 eggs, which I believe was the exact same number she had several years ago. Passed all of them were perfect, and they all hatched. So I'm going to share them with you today. So you're not going to see crazy, oh my God, morphs here. We're working with Fire, Yellow Belly, and Inchy. That's the 3 genes we're working with. So nothing too crazy to come out, but let's start sharing them with you because, hey, it proves that she is healthy, which is the main thing. So the first one is right here, which we think is just a little Inchy. So nothing too crazy with this snake, just an Inchy. Has a really cool head stamp right there, kind of neat. But got some flies on her. We have a lot of flies in here right now. I went through and cleaned the babies, a lot of them, and that's what caused it everywhere. But anyway, just nice, healthy little snake. Nothing too special, but no health issues that are readily available. So good to go, little Inchy, should you need one. And you're a Patreon member. I know Patreon is going to be in line for that Inchy, but not like they will be for this. Holy cow. That Inchy is going to not draw the same interest that snake number 2 does. I guess I should say that Inchy was a male. This one is also a male. Now, here you go. This is what's called smashing the odds. That, you guys, is, what don't we call this? This is a wild type, or maybe we could call it a classic African ball python, or maybe just a classic, or maybe retro. I think retro would be a cool name for this. Or we could call it exactly what it is, and that is, this is a normal. So this is what ball pythons look like when they first came in the pet trade, right here, straight out of Africa. Nothing wrong with it. Again, if you're looking for a pet, these make great snakes, especially pets for kids or a first snake, or you just want a snake and you don't want to be really expensive on the morph, or you don't really care. Or if you're one of those people that don't like morphs, believe it or not, they do exist, and you just want a normal type snake and you're looking for a pretty normal, hey, this one kind of fits the bill. It's got some good flaming there. Look at that. It's got a pretty cool belly pattern. Check that out. Nice color overall. Good patterning, but it is a normal. There's nothing genetic here to be excited about. Put that one back. Okay, so now I've showed you a single gene and then a normal. It's time to get rolling, right? It is definitely time to really pull out the big guns for you. And I'm going to with another male, okay? The 3rd male if you're keeping score. And bam, guys, here it is. So what are we looking at here? Well, y'all, this is literally another normal. Get it to straighten its head back out right there. Now, there's a pretty neat stamp on there. We can watch this one. If it brightens up, maybe it's a very low expression. When I say a low expression on the flaming for fire, it does appear brighter than the other one, but if I was selling this today, I would just sell it as a normal. If I'm selling it in 2 weeks from now, I'd sell it as a normal. If I'm selling it a month from now, I'd selling it as a normal. If it proves to be fire here in about a month, because I usually set them for a while, then hey, okay, we'll sell it as a fire. Fire does take a bit to brighten up, but right now I would say, err on the side of caution, probably just a normal. Let me put that back, go get the next baby. And by now you're probably picking up on the theme, right? Picking up on that theme. Again, this one's kind of the same as the last one. It does have a lightning on the head. It's probably just a normal. So if you're if you're really tracking, out of 4 eggs so far, it was inchy, normal, normal. I do promise the 5th egg gets better. This one's also a male, and the 5th egg will not be. We did get 1 female in the clutch, but we did get 3 normals, which obviously is not what you're looking for. But again, we're just trying to prove the female healthy. So on this situation, even though we totally got, like, you know, got screwed by the odds, totally, I am actually okay with it because, well, it wasn't about that for me on this clutch. It wasn't about that at all. You know, I can put something cooler to her next year. I just wanted to give her a good chance with a male that was going to work just for her. So last but not least is this snake here. Now this one is a female. And this one, we think right now, is going to be the fire yellow belly. I should have showed you the bellies on those normals just to show you they're not yellow belly, but they're not yellow belly. Here you can see the snake's colors just a lot nicer, and there's some good flaming, and you can see that nice stamp mark on its head right there. And when we look at its belly, you can see the yellow belly markers clear as day. A lot more flaming, as you can see through there, which can be done by the yellow belly or the fire. We do believe both of them are in here. She's going to brighten with age. She looks a lot like her mother did when we got her mother. So we did get one that we think is a fire yellow belly. And that is it, guys. That is all 5 snakes. So for review, we got a male inchy. We got a male normal. We got a male classic. We got a male wild type. See what I did there? Made 3 separate names to make it sound cooler. And we got a female fire yellow belly. We're going to go over to Patreon and tell you what we're going to do with this bounty of ball python morphs and what our plans are with them. So you'll know, if you remember, what to expect come to you for sale. You probably won't be too excited, so I'll probably try to find something else to talk about while I do it. Kurt, any other questions?
No.
All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.